Hi friends, how you all are doing? Thank you so much for your support. I'm so grateful to all of you. And today I'm going to talk about the compatibility between two people, whether they are friends or they are lovers or people who work together, parent and child. All this we can see through some astrological alignments, and I'm going to speak about them. But I would like to tell one thing, because I have not read any Vedas like Birahat, Parashar, Hora Shastra or Chamatkar Chintamani or any of the like old ancient Vedas. I cannot say that what I am telling you all is written there. Yes, I have learned properly. I have learned from Sir Roland D. Lufci. He's in Netherlands, and I have also learned from Sir Sunil Jonji and from Saptarishis Institute. But basically I like to research on one topic I take, and I like to open maybe 50 charts for that to see why it is happening, what is happening. So my work is more research oriented. So I have developed my own way of looking at a chart, my own techniques, or even my own steps, let's say, not techniques, my own steps, and it gives me good results. The outcome is good. Many times I hear that what you have predicted is very accurate regarding past, present and future. It is happening in our life, and yes, this kind of things I am experiencing in life. I have done many past life readings. So far all of them have said yes, it clicks, except for one person whose past life reading didn't connect at all. So it can happen also. Sometimes the messages are just not coming, and another thing, sometimes it is not really necessary that that person should know about past life. This is why many very young people come to me and they want to do their past life reading, but I tell them nowadays not to, because the thing is, unless someone has suffered a lot, some serious trauma, then that person should know about their past life, no matter what age, because that soul is in trauma and is a matured soul. It needs healing. But people who are having normal happy life, generally not major issues in life, and they are very young, like in their 20s, or even like 30, 31 or before 35, I don't think they are suitable for past life reading, because sometimes they do not understand their journey. They get more confused, they get hurt. Instead of getting healing, they get confused and hurt, and they get more traumatized, like what could be the outcome, So this is why I do not really encourage people to below 35 to come and do past life reading, unless there is some major trauma they have gone through in life. So this is one of the things. Okay, so now I want to talk about the how to match two charts, for compatibility. So for me, I don't do Gun Milan, because Gun Milan is basically my software does when people really insist that they want to do it also. So after all the reading, superimposing all Western aspects, everything, then I just ask my software, I key in the information, and my software does the Gun Milan. I don't do it personally, because I don't see it is working, really. I mean, I see where the chart matches very well according to Gun Milan, and still the couple have lot of issues. They are still breaking off, and somewhere where this not Gun Milan and the result is not good, but the couple is very happy together. So I do not really believe in Gun Milan. So my own way is like, first thing I will see is Dagda signs, So the Dagda sign of, let's say, A and B, they shouldn't be holding the sun, moon. They shouldn't be like, suppose one person has Dagda sign in another person's chart, that sign shouldn't be ascendant or sun or moon or 7th lord. Suppose it is about two friends, then it is 11th lord. Suppose it's about business co-worker, then we have to take 10th lord. So when these Dagda signs are there in these three places, or these 4 places, in fact, that person has come in your life, and because he is supposed to or she is supposed to teach you some lesson, and that is not a good lesson. It's going to burn your soul. The trauma will be intense, So this Dagda signs normally give lot of trouble, So suppose anybody have Dagda sign in, one person have Dagda sign in Aries and the other person have Dagda sign in Libra. So they are facing each other, 7-7 aspect, They are going to hurt each other a lot. They will burn each other's soul, The trauma will be extreme, So these Dagda signs, we have to make sure they shouldn't be there. Suppose my Dagda sign is suppose Leo and Scorpio, let's say. And the person with whom I am, whether my friend or boyfriend or husband or child, whosoever. If these Leo and Scorpio are their ascendant, sun or moon, and according to relationship, like husband means 7th lord, or whatever the relationship, boyfriend means 5th lord or 11th lord, and child means 5th lord also, and depend on which number child, if second child is 7th house, so like that. So if these combinations are there, then that person is definitely going to disturb your life. I mean, that relationship is bound to happen. It is a past life relationship. It has to come in your life, and you have to know, you have to deal with it. Maybe you will come to realize this only after going through it. So basically, when you know that this person has come in your life, because you have to settle some pending karma, which is not very nice karma, and your soul will feel burnt, by the end of the day. You will have to struggle in this relationship. So you handle that relationship in a more gentle way. That is very important, because I never say that do not have relationship with anyone. If you like someone, if your soul connects with someone, then you should have relationship with that person. Only thing, you should know how to deal, how to handle that person, how to be, basically you have to learn to be more giving, more compromising, more gentle, so that karma, when it is done over, you release each other peacefully. Just a minute. So this is one thing. Another thing is Dhuma. I do not use all the Upagrahas so far, because I haven't researched in all. I just use Gulika and Mandi and Dhuma. Dhuma among all these three. I mean, there are so many others, Kala Chappa and others, but I haven't researched on them, so I don't use them. I use Chiron. Chiron is similar to Dhuma, but Chiron, the intensity of thing is not as strong as Dhuma. Dhuma is the one where you feel like the soul is really burnt, especially if it is in the 8th house, or it is in the 6th house, 12th house. The houses which are difficult houses, your Dhuma is there. And suppose it is in the very difficult nakshatra, like it is in Ardra nakshatra. So we know, the trauma will be more for soul. The soul will suffer a lot in this area due to certain relationship or due to some situation. So like I have a friend, she a very close friend, and her younger brother got burned to death in the car. He couldn't even walk out of the car. The car suddenly caught fire 1 month after his marriage. And she had 3 younger brothers. One died. And there are 3 planets in her 3rd house in natal chart, and Dhuma is there also, in the 3rd house. So, and Neptune is also there. So I asked her that was he having some kind of medicines when he died. So she said, yeah, he was under he was having high fever, so he was under medication, and that's why probably he stopped the car and he slept off, And that time the engine was on and it caught fire, and he couldn't even come out of the car. So he just got married a month before, so probably some major karma he had to settle with his wife also. So this situation I have seen. Even Dhuma, I suppose it is in the 4th house, and suppose Ketu is also there, or some another malefic is there, like Mars is there. Often the home have major fire situation, like house have got fire at least one time in life, or fire accidents are happening more often, electrical short circuit and all that. So this is one of the scenario. So Dhuma, I know whenever Dhuma is there, it definitely going to give some kind of difficult results, because it is about Ma Dhumavati. Upagraha Dhuma is representing Ma Dhumavati, you know, Ma Gauri Ma, you know, she got burned to death, you know, so her intensity, you know. So when suppose two partners or whatever relationship, you know, one person have Dhuma in the same sign as another person, then together these two people will suffer a lot, some kind of destiny which will make them go through a lot of suffering, you know. There's a lot of emotional and physical trauma, you know. So this is one thing, you know. And another thing, when the Dhuma comes in opposition, then they will cause each other a lot of trauma. The soul will burn because of each other, lot of struggle and difficulties because of each other. So position of Dhuma is very important. And this all I am talking about nature. You can also get into D9 and you can also get into D16. But this is just basic. So I am talking about nature, you know. Just 1 minute. Nowadays I have started you know, breathing in between, also drinking water, because I can speak better after that. Okay, now the third thing, you know, we have to see two people's chart, and this is very important. The steps I am going to tell are now very, very important, because it can make your life or break your life, you know. These relationships are very important, because you know, somebody is coming in your life as a friend, as a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. What they are bringing in your life, you know, what kind of situation you will go through with them. So this is a extremely important step, you know. Of course, many things matters, you know. Just this is the basic step I'm telling. So like one person have ascendant Aries, and the another person have ascendant Scorpio. It's 6 and 8, you know. 6 and 8. So it is Shatak Yoga, you know. These relationships will not work. Even moon sign you have to see, moon, you know. Actually, I will tell all planets, you know, but sun sign, you know, I mean the ascendant, first thing, 6, 8. Now, according to Western aspect, I think it is 150 degrees away. So it is in conjunct or quincunx they call it, you know, but they do not think so badly of this. So this is why I tell everyone, whenever the couples come to me and they say that please check our chart, and I see the 6 and 8, I always tell them that this is a difficult situation at times, but don't think that it is so harmful or damaging, because at times 6 and 8 also means that you have to do, the couple will be doing a lot of research together, or they will be inheriting and they will be using it for service, that whatever the inheritance. There are many options. 6, 8, 12 are not just bad houses. They can make you do many other things, you know. They are not really damaging. They are there so that you go towards service, towards charities, because 12th house is about charities, you know. So they are going to take you towards charity. So it is our choice, our option, that what option we choose, you know, for the outcome. Destiny is 70% fixed, 30% is our choice. And most of the time, the fixed destiny also, when some event happen in our life, basically by the end of the day we have options. What option we choose, that option is making or breaking time. If it is going to make you and make another person, then it is a right option. But if it is going to break you and break another person, then it is wrong outcome. Then it becomes another karma which you have to settle in future, in another lifetime. So basically this is the situation. So 6, 8 according to Western aspects, it's not a bad aspect. It's just okay. I mean, it does, they say it's okay, you know. I do not remember really what they say, but I think it is okay aspect, you know. It is not really bad aspect, you know. But there are few other aspects which are like really affect, you know. So when we superimpose two charts over each other, so we have to see Rahu Ketu. If Rahu Ketu axis is combined, you know, with moon or with the 7th lord, or and you know, any sun also, you know, so that means the destiny is really very strong regarding that person. There is some past life karma for which to settle, which the soul has incarnated in this life, and so it is going to happen no matter what. It is going to take place. So that is one thing, you know, Rahu Ketu axis, we have to see where it is falling of the couple. If it is cutting each other, you know, like making a cross, that is very difficult destiny. The two couples will end up in bitterness for sure, you know. cross when it comes in the superimpose, you do the chart, will come the Rahu Ketu axis actually crossing each other. I have seen it sometime, and those couples, they really end up very bitterly, but I still tell them to settle their destiny before moving on. Only thing, settle it peacefully. Then we have to see the, as I said, the ascendants. Then we have to see the conjunctions of planets into charts, like which all planets are coming together in one side, and how wide the orb is, and nakshatra. There are so many things behind it, but the first and foremost, like in both the charts, some planet is in a certain sign. So in superimposing, they are coming together, so they are becoming conjunct, so they will give the effect of conjunct when these two people will come together. So like Mars and Venus, okay, so the relationship will be very passionate, but Mars and Saturn, it will be very difficult, situation. They will have more conflicts, and one will be creating boundaries, limitations, very limited, very conventional person, or he is like very rigid, and the other person is very playful, warrior type, So this kind of situation. But suppose Venus and Mercury come together. This is very nice, lively relationship, lot of creativity, fun, play, So this kind of thing we have to see. Then we have to see, like, suppose moon to moon, how it is making. Suppose one person's moon is in Aries, the other person's moon is in Leo. So the distance is 5-9, So this is trine aspect, So this is very good, They will be together. They will grow. They will expand, and they will do very well together. And same way, like Moon and Jupiter comes together, So they will do very well together, And prosperity and growth is there. So the 5-9 aspect is good. So there is one aspect is difficult aspects. 6-8 is one which is considered difficult at times. Then 1 and 12, like someone's one planet is in first and somebody's 12 sign away. Then there's lot of like one is in Aries and another person is in Pisces, so that the emotional compatibility won't be there. One person will be very different and other person's emotional needs will be different, So they both won't be able to agree. So this is one thing. Then I think I have written, opposition. Yes, if in opposition two planets come. So like if these planets are friendly planets, then these two people will have good communication, good connection. They will be very connected with each other in a good way. But if it is difficult, like Saturn and Mars aspecting, or Rahu Mars aspecting, Ketu Saturn aspecting, then there will be a lot of conflicts and opposition. So this is also not, opposition is also difficult at times. Then a square aspect, a square aspect is I think 90 or 90 I think. 90 degrees apart. It's like 1 and 4, so it's like it's basically 4 or 10 I think, 4 and 10. So this is also challenging aspect, it is not very it's not very easy. It creates a lot of frustration, and obstacles. So this is not considered a good aspect. Then we see there is 60 degree apart, that is 3 signs away, 2 signs away in the third house. So 3-11, this is sextile aspect. This is very good, very positive aspect, So this will indicates opportunities, and but also the dignity of planet and the nakshatra lot is very important. You cannot just see, this is basic steps, but then behind there are many other principles which we have to practice, So suppose 3-11 aspect, it is sextile. So it is favorable, and it is indicates opportunities that will arise for the couple and will eventually lead to their success. So this is a good aspect, So what we can do, what I do normally, I see Mars to Mars, Moon to Moon, Sun to Sun. Then I see all the planets with all the planets, So this is one way of seeing each other. Then outer planets, how they are affecting each other. So basically, this is the way I do the compatibility, and also the Dasha lot, Mahadasha lot, So if one person has Rahu Mahadasha going and another person also have Rahu Mahadasha going, so it is going to be very difficult situation for both of them. So you have to, basically I do not say no to any kind of situation, when they have, I say if you are really, nowadays most of the couples, they are in love, they want to be with each other. So you cannot say, oh, just because your charts have these problems, you can't be with each other. We just say that you have to learn to be more compromising, you have to learn to be more peaceful, more gentle with each other. And when the time to come to say bye, you must say peacefully, you must say, you shouldn't end up bitterly. You should even still, when you are parting ways, you should be friends. One door should always be left unlocked, so that if ever you need to knock on that door again, you can, And another thing, each and every person bring a luck in our life, some bring a luck which is of breaking time, but some bring luck which is of making time, So we have to value that luck. So if we will end up with that person in a bitter note, on a bitter note, it is going to affect our luck as well, So I always indicate, like suppose they have, the moon is in trine, or moon and Jupiter combination is there in their good houses, So I say you have prosperity, luck together. If you will do business together, or when you will come together, you will work together, you will do very well. But the thing is that even when you part, you must make sure that you stay friends, because so that your luck is still with each other, So this is what we are supposed to learn. That's why we have come, in this world, to settle that karma peacefully and go our way peacefully. So this is something. Basically, I think I have covered all. I hope you like this video. I try my best always. And many of you approach me for reading, but I don't take many people, at one time, because I really give time to my client, each client. So I go a bit slow, and so many of you have to wait for my mails, and when I can take your work. And please do forgive. I do not even have Facebook account right now. I have deactivated because it was taking so much of my time that I decided to deactivate. And I don't have a website. I only have it here, So whatever the, how you can communicate with me is here only, So please forgive me for my shortcomings, bear with me, And basically the reason is I want to give time to people who come to me, and I want to give time to my clients, And even the videos I want to make, I want them to be like worth watching, I don't want to simply do some work just for the sake of doing, So when I get active in all these social networking sites and all that, I'm not doing justice to my work. Much time is wasted in just chatting and all that, and I'm not very communicative. So this is why please do forgive me if you do not receive my mail soon, and also you don't find me easy to communicate with, So please do forgive, and thank you so much. Please leave your comments, and it's an honor when you people praise, because everybody love appreciation, So I feel very thankful to all of you, and to God also, that you people are accepting me, And in spite of not reading I have not read any Vedas or anything, you people accept what I'm putting in front, This is basically just how I do my things, how I read a chart, and you people accept it. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. God bless you.